Welcome, dear Aries, whether you're a long-time cosmic traveler or freshly awakened fire sign explorer, to Zodiac Talks Tarot, a sanctuary where ancient astrology meets modern soul work, and where we speak your fiery language fluently. I'm truly honored to have you here. Now, let's get straight to it, because Aries doesn't exactly love small talk, do you? This week, something extraordinary is happening. Between July 14th and 20, a rare cosmic convergence is prying open a multidimensional energy portal. No, this isn't sci-fi, this is astrology backed by millennia of observation and a fair bit of personal existential crisis. Ancient astrologers regarded this kind of alignment as life-altering, and frankly, they weren't exaggerating. If you've been waking up at exactly 3:33 a.m., feeling like you're simultaneously floating and panicking, that's not caffeine withdrawal or bad sushi, it's a sign you're receiving high-frequency downloads. Time might feel distorted. Your thoughts might feel like scrambled eggs. But guess what? That's exactly how transformation begins: messy, weird, and full of potential. Now, let's talk about Saturn retrograde in Aries, your sign, your battlefield, your cosmic gym. Think of Saturn as the universe's personal trainer. Except instead of yelling, "Drop and give me 20, it whispers, "Let's examine your unresolved father wound and sense of purpose, shall we?" This retrograde is reviewing not what you've achieved, but who you've become in the past 7 years. That ego identity you built? The one you proudly wore like armor? If it's outdated or inauthentic, Saturn is about to throw it into the spiritual laundry. This is not punishment, it's preparation. The masks will crack. The old stories will melt. And in their place, a more honest, raw, and incredibly powerful you. Aries, this is not just another retrograde. This is your soul's bootcamp. You, my fellow chosen ones, are standing on the threshold of your year of triumph. That's not a slogan. That's a cosmic fact. But the triumph won't come by charging ahead blindly, no matter how tempting that is for your Mars-ruled instincts. It comes by pausing, listening, and doing the hardest thing of all for an Aries, reflecting. Let the past come home, not to haunt you, but to be liberated. This isn't about going back. It's about going deeper. So take a deep breath. Welcome the chaos. Laugh at the absurdity. And remember, if everything feels like it's falling apart, maybe it's just finally falling into place. Let's talk about what happens when Mercury, the cosmic trickster and ruler of communication, decides to throw on a feather boa, crank up the drama, and moonwalk backward through Leo, your fire sign cousin. 5 days after Saturn starts stirring up your karmic archives, Mercury retrograde shows up like the loud friend at a family gathering who just can't whisper. And Aries, let's be honest, you're already a walking megaphone of passion. So when this transit hits, it's like adding hot sauce to fireworks. This is the kind of astrological weather where communication becomes a beautiful, chaotic mess. 1 minute you're oversharing your entire life story to a barista who just asked for your coffee order, and the next, you're disappearing from the group chat like a ghost in full Aries vanishing act. Even your own thoughts might stop showing up for their regularly scheduled meetings. It's not that your mind is broken, it's just that Mercury in Leo is forcing you to sift through the noise to find what's really true. Think of it as spiritual karaoke, loud, messy, surprisingly therapeutic, and yes, sometimes off-key. But here's where it gets interesting: beneath all the static, there's a quiet truth trying to introduce itself. Not with a bullhorn, not with a viral TED Talk, just a subtle nudge that says, "Hey, this is the real you. Wanna talk?" The key is to listen between the lines. And I know listening isn't exactly Aries' favorite sport. But this time, it's the inner voice that's holding the real map. Meanwhile, as Mercury plays its retrograde games, the Sun steps in with a softer, wiser influence. It's forming a beautiful trine with the North Node in Cancer, a gentle alignment that feels more like a soul hug than a cosmic shove. This is your karmic path quietly recalibrating. Random daydreams? Unexplainable waves of emotion? Running into someone from your past who still knows your favorite sandwich? Not accidents. Aries, these are cosmic clues. Breadcrumbs. Your soul's GPS saying, turn left here. Yes, even though it feels inconvenient. Buddha once said, when the student is ready, the path appears. For Aries, it usually shows up wearing neon, blasting music, and yelling, "Yo, it's time." Don't ignore the signs. Even the messy ones. Especially the messy ones. Let's just say this up front, July 17th is not the day to pick a fight over who left the cap off the toothpaste. On this day, the moon moves into Aries, your turf, but it's squaring off with Cancer's deeply emotional waters. Translation? Your feelings will be wearing boxing gloves, and your inner peace might decide to take a sick day. You may find yourself reliving old wounds, snapping over the smallest things, or launching into passionate speeches that make people around you blink, slowly. But before you spiral into a "what is wrong with me" monologue, let me assure you this is not a breakdown. This is a breakthrough. You're not broken. You're breaking open. And that's a very different thing. You see, the last quarter moon is a classic trigger point. It's where the universe goes, "Hey, how about we dig into that emotional closet you've been ignoring since 2018? And since it's in Aries, we're not just talking about emotional reflection, we're talking full-on emotional CrossFit. It's intense, sweaty, possibly loud but necessary. You're undergoing what I like to call a cosmic detox. Just like your body expels toxins, your energy field is releasing old stories, stale fears, and ego defense mechanisms that no longer serve you. Is it comfortable? Nope. Is it necessary for the chosen ones during this year of triumph? Absolutely. Now, on top of that, Mercury is sextiling Venus, which sounds like a rom-com plot, but really it means your brain may feel like it's wrapped in fog, while your intuition is screaming from the back seat. You might be zoning out mid-conversation, overwhelmed by nostalgia, or having déjà vu so strong you're convinced you've glitched the matrix. That's not brain fog, it's what I like to call a divine software update. And here's a pro tip, especially for my fellow Aries, this is not the week to let your ego run the show. I know it hates being told to take a back seat. But your gut, your instincts, your quiet inner voice? That's the one tuned into the divine frequency right now. As I often say, usually after a questionable midnight snack or a sudden epiphany, sometimes the loudest truth shows up as a whisper or a forehead slap moment at 2 a.m. So, if things feel messy, foggy, or flat out weird, congratulations, you're exactly where you need to be. On July 19th, things get real. The Sun squares off with Chiron in Aries, and if you've never been personally attacked by a cosmic event before, well, buckle up. Chiron is what we astrologers lovingly refer to as the wounded healer. It's where you carry your deepest emotional scar, the one you usually hide under productivity, sarcasm, or, if you're an Aries, an overbooked schedule and sheer willpower. But when the Sun, the great cosmic spotlight, shines directly onto Chiron in your sign, there's nowhere left to hide. Questions like "Who am I, really, and do I even belong here?" rise up from the depths, not to torture you, but to free you. Now, I know Aries doesn't exactly wake up in the morning hoping to do inner child therapy, but this moment? It's sacred. Vulnerability might feel like weakness to your Mars-ruled brain, but here's the deeper truth. Vulnerability is your transformation cocoon. It's the uncomfortable space between the old self and the new one, the place where the caterpillar literally dissolves before becoming a butterfly. And yes, Aries, I can hear you already. Dissolve? I didn't sign up for that. But you did. You chose this incarnation to alchemize your pain into purpose. This is your moment as a chosen one in the year of triumph. So don't numb it. Don't outrun it. Let it break you open. And then, as if that weren't enough cosmic intensity, Saturn and Mercury are both retrograde at the same time, meaning your sense of time and thought are having a full-on identity crisis. Days feel like weeks, memories from 10 years ago pop up like uninvited house guests, and dreams blur into déjà vu. This is the time warp effect. You might feel like you're walking through a fever dream, but it's actually a sacred space where past, present, and future timelines are blending. It's not confusion. It's creation. Because here's the kicker, this week isn't just happening to you, it's responding through you. You are standing at the intersection of every version of yourself. Past Aries, future Aries, empowered Aries, they're all present, all available, all waiting for you to choose. And guess what? Transformation doesn't require you to chase anything. In fact, Aries, the biggest flex right now is remembering who you already are, beneath the armor, the hustle, and the fire. That still, wise presence? That's been you all along. So, take a deep breath. Maybe cry a little. Maybe scream into a pillow. Then step forward. Because this is where the magic begins. Alright Aries, let's get one thing straight, you weren't born to tiptoe through life. You were born to blaze through it, knock down a few doors, and occasionally burn your own bridges just to see if you can rebuild them better. That's what makes you a chosen one in the year of triumph 2025. And this 7-day cosmic bootcamp? It's your spiritual activation sequence. Not just another week on the calendar, it's a countdown to a full-blown energetic rebirth. Let's break it down, fire starter style. July 14th, Saturn retrograde begins. The universe grabs you by the collar and says, so, about those life foundations, are they real, or just well-painted cardboard? Saturn, the cosmic karmic inspector, starts evaluating everything you've built, your identity, your routines, your emotional scaffolding. For Aries, this is like your inner general being called in for an audit. It's intense. But remember, the structures that crumble weren't meant to carry the new version of you anyway. July 15th to 16th, Moon in Pisces. Your fire meets water. Cue the steam. These are your feel everything at once days. You might cry over a random song, or finally realize that unresolved conversation from 2020 still lives rent-free in your head. You'll need softness here, Aries. Journal, meditate, scream into your pillow, or just have a good ugly cry in the shower. It's not weakness, it's energetic housekeeping. July 17th, last quarter moon in Aries. This is your moon phase. Your center stage. But instead of suiting up for battle, consider choosing release over rage. Internal breakthroughs are happening whether you like it or not. Old anger may try to hijack the moment, but this is the day you reclaim your power by doing something revolutionary. For Aries, pausing. Remember, sometimes laying down the sword is the real flex. July 18th, Mercury retrograde in Leo. Now Mercury gets dramatic. Communication gets weird. One moment you're shouting your truth with poetic flair, the next you're wondering why your best friend left you on read. This is not the time to broadcast every thought. Say what you mean, not just what's loud. Or better yet, take a day of sacred silence. That's a power move Aries rarely tries, but it's potent. July 19th, Sun square Chiron. The deepest wounds get a spotlight. Oof. But here's the twist, the pain that surfaces now is ripe for healing. You can't keep ignoring the "who am I?" question. Your identity isn't just how others see you, it's how you see yourself when no one's watching. Meet your hurt with love. This is soul alchemy in real time. July 20th, Moon in Gemini. Aha moments hit like spiritual lightning bolts. Suddenly, everything makes sense. That weird dream? That strange conversation? It clicks. This is your day of integration, your spiritual download complete screen. Honor it. Talk it out, write it down, dance it through. Your new self is starting to speak more clearly. As I often say, each day of this week isn't random, it's a rung in the ladder of your rebirth. And you, Aries, are climbing fast. But here's the real kicker, after July 20th, the world will not and cannot look the same. This isn't just a season, it's a turning point. A portal that changes everything. Your self-identity is shifting, thanks Saturn in Aries. Your voice and how you connect with others? Rewriting itself, thank Mercury in Leo. Even your perception of time is warping, past, present, and future are blending together like some cosmic smoothie. You're not just in the timeline anymore, you're recreating it. You are not here to survive this life. You are here to ascend. And no, I don't mean in a rainbows and unicorns kind of way. I mean rising into your truest, boldest, most aligned version. Think caterpillar? Nah. You've burned through that phase. You're a fire-winged phoenix now. And it's time to fly like you finally remember what those wings were made for. This isn't just spiritual fluff. This is where cosmic science meets psychological growth and a good dose of Buddhist wisdom. Aries chosen ones, now that you've awakened, the question is no longer what will happen to me. It's, what will I choose to create? Because the universe is watching, not to judge, but to mirror. And in the year of triumph 2025, it mirrors those who act with courage, clarity, and fire-born purpose. So if you've made it this far in the reading, you're not just passing through. You're meant to be here. Take this message to heart. Live it. Laugh with it. Roar with it. And most of all, enjoy this crazy, beautiful, unfiltered life that you, Aries, are here to lead. Now do yourself, and the universe, a favor. Like this video, drop a comment about the weirdest dream you've had this week, subscribe to the channel, and share this with another fiery soul who's ready to wake up. This is Zodiac Talks Tarot, where wisdom meets wildness, and where the chosen ones rise. We're just getting started.